Um, had a nice long weekend away, and boy, I'm back to a whole bunch of DFS coming up this weekend. Um, we also have a whole bunch of other stuff going on this week. So first, I'm going to summarize what's coming, and we'll talk about today's slate as well. Not a lot to say. I mean, I had Cole and Cease, and didn't really play the Cubs too much. So this is my, just so you know, this is my big buy-in. I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, that Arizona can go crazy in the last 3 innings or so, but I'm not holding my breath in 584th place. We shall see. Let's take a look and see who's doing well, and then we will come back to see do some NFL stuff, I guess. Yeah, so 200 points. I'm not getting this. Whole bunch of San Francisco, Chicago, including Suzuki, 31 points. This guy actually is Cole and Bassett. I don't think this is even going to win at 207. Got to be somebody that's going to probably get there. Actually, that's not true. Oh, hey, Bobby, what's going on?
What's up, man?
So I was just taking a look at this lobby here before I get into the NFL stuff. Let me just see. Got to close the volume over there. Yeah. Yeah. So this is. I'm just kind of looking at the lobby here. I mean, you're gonna need a shitload of points to win. This guy with the Kramer and Bassett. I mean, this is. I guess this could get there. I'm not sure. I guess there's some ways to go, but yeah, I can't compete with 12 lineups anyway. I took a shot with Arizona as my top 5-man stack in this one. And listen, it's always possible they can go crazy in the last couple innings, but I'm not particularly.
Like even if they do, it's just how crazy. You know what I mean? Like that was the name of the game today. It was more like it wasn't like if you got it right. It was like how right did you get it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's one of those days where it's good.
One thing I was talking about with in our Discord was I was looking at other lineups in the 2500 early on, and I was looking at all of Brandon Adams' lineups, and I think he had a couple 4-man stacks with like 1-1-1-1s or 2-1. He had some 2-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1 lineups, and he wins these things all the time. It's just really interesting to see how people. And he was like locked in for some reason to like Gorman and Nootbaar in like 8 out of the 13 lineups he played. And they were like, I mean, it's weird.
And, Gorman went off and Nootbaar made a 0.
Yeah. But it's just weird that like it wasn't like about like how good, like it was like, well, like that's a 4-man. He has other ones that are literally 2-1-1. And I just like it's just, most of them are like 3-mans. With like no correlation otherwise. It's really interesting though. Anyway, so I thought
I'm going to be very curious to see how the ownership, not the ownership necessarily, but what the lineups are going to look like this year in the NFL. Because what's happened in the last, since last season is there's been content providers that have merged, unmerged, reemerged. You have established the run, who's really, become kind of like the premium, NFL projection source now. But there's been 3 or 4 different sites that have kind of, I don't want to say improved upon, but have taken a similar approach to Saberson with respect to doing simulations of games. And I'm going to be curious to see how much like the 150 maxers embrace or don't embrace that, and what the lineups sort of look like. This year with respect to the NFL lineups. Are they going to look more traditional, or are they going to look more like ultra game stacky, or are they going to look more, like a little more like JM2-ish, like 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting very curious to see where ownership kind of goes. It's going to be it's again from someone who's now in content, who's seen what a lot of other people are going to be focusing on. There was like a whole thread, like just dedicated to comparing like different different simulation models. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know exactly what size, what percentage of the lineups that type of approach is going to take, and what the lineups are going to look like. I am going to be curious to see. Yeah, I don't really, as far as the sweats go, I really don't have much of my own. I mean, I even played the late slate.
I'm trying to hang on for a cash. Rody's in 27th, but he's
okay.
left though.
Okay, that's something. Yeah, I was off to a good start to some of these things, like the turn two. But then that just kind of the Cubs game kind of snuck up on me. I didn't even realize that game was still in play. And I didn't play them. They kind of went off a little bit. But like you said, you needed to be kind of perfect.
It was annoying the Cubs because I had the Cubs in Mets. I did a 4-4.
Okay.
And they both scored 10 runs. You know what I mean? Like, and I had some of the right pieces, but like I had Swanson, Lindor, I think had like 7 more points, but they both had a good games. Like I could have gone 5-3 different ways, but the thing that was annoying for a lot of us who played Tauchman in our lineups with the Cubs, they pinch hit for him in the second inning. And the Giants and Cubs are both playing for a postseason spot, and they played it like a playoff game. They pinch hit for him with a lefty, and then when they brought in a righty, they pinch hit again with Morel. Like they literally were ready just to go for it. So it's just something to keep in mind going forward. I wanted to point it out, but it really did cost any real chance, even though I didn't end up having much of a chance because of that not doing great. But it would have cost me a seemingly good chance because he was it was first and third, 2 with 1 out, and it was like a second inning. Like you're like, shit, what's happening? Anyway, sorry.
I want to talk about a couple of things schedule wise, like what's coming up this weekend, and just what I kind of want to do. So, first of all, there's a lot of sports going on this weekend. There's the opening night of the NFL season on Thursday with the big showdown slate. Then there's the big Sunday slate, and then there's also a big MMA slate on Saturday, and there's baseball every day, I imagine. Just so you guys know, I am going to be out on Thursday. I'm going to be out Thursday. Let's just put it. I might be in early, but I won't be there for the live stuff. And I do plan on being here along with you and Rody, whoever else is going to be here Sunday for the live Sunday thing. I'm going to get everything up now. Just again for scheduling, Bray Jayhawk and I are going to do our first week Survivor pool preview tomorrow. And then I'm also going to be doing something this week, starting this week for the whole season, where I'm going to be going through my Circa Millions journey. And what that is you picking 6 against the spread games every week against a zillion people and very sharp people and trying to win like millions. You know what I mean? Like you just got to do better than everybody else. And I have a plan, and I'm going to talk people through it like week by week and go over my top picks. I'm going to make that kind of a video series, and it's the reason I'm doing it is just to force me to kind of stay sharp in that, So I'm going to be doing that also. And with respect to
give us a preview, is there a week 1 preview we get?
No,
come on,
I don't even know the spread yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the idea is that what people don't get is that this is not a contest to beat the bookie. You know what I mean? This is a contest to beat everybody else. So it's not while it's relevant, it's not dispositive like how you do, you know what I mean, against the spread. All that's relevant is how you do relative to everybody else. You could win, theoretically 30% of your bets and win all the money. You know what I mean? And theoretically, you can win 70% of your bets and not even come close. And that's what people don't exactly understand about this thing. It's kind of like DFS. You know what I mean? Like you just have to do better than everybody else. You don't have to necessarily do well. So the idea is going to be not necessarily trying to be a good picker, but it's going to be a good gauger of who everybody else is playing. You know what I mean? Because I personally am of the belief that the NFL is an extremely efficient market, and very few people, if any, can really get an edge over that kind of liquidity. So if I can really figure out what types of teams people are playing and just go against them, I'm going to be, that's going to be my measure of success. So I'm going to be going through that. So based on what you had told me, what I think what's going to end up happening, we got to get a little more organized, but in general, there's going to be a lot of content NFL wise, and
we're pretty organized. We got a system down. We're going to meet with the team. We're meeting every day now, so we got some things. We had a hiccup earlier today that put things down.
Yeah.
With Saberson, but we've got everything under control.
Well, to that point, like I know Bobby and I are going to do a game by game tomorrow, and then usually, and then we'll have everything covered, and I guess Bobby will release to everybody the official schedule once it's settled. Yeah. But you'll be getting a lot of different things. Now, I'll just give you guys a little bit of a heads up, partially because I'm not ready, and partially because I just need to see how it works. Is that it's possible that my sheets are not going to be perfect for the first week, just because there's different projection sources I'm using. I have to test them out a little bit. I have to see how they look. The other thing is that a lot of the providers, instead of putting like running back for a position, they put like running back / flex, and it doesn't seem like a big deal to you or anybody because obviously.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man.
But it screws around with my sorting. You know what I mean? So I have to see how that looks. So it's possible the first week, just so you guys know, at least for my sheets, could be sort of a experimental. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure Goldie's probably more on top of his than I am of mine right now. So just be aware of that. And as always, as you guys might imagine, the most important content to absorb is the Sunday show. It is to that's where the takes are most updated. The industry takes have been absorbed the most by us. We're going to figure out who people are just can't wait to play, but maybe you shouldn't. You know what I mean? And we'll really be on it. So, listen, when I was doing this first, and I was absorbing everything. Like I would watch and listen to something every single day from Monday right through Sunday. Okay, but if you had to prioritize, I'll let you guys figure out what the best way to do it. You know what I mean? But maybe what I'll do if I have time during the season is I'll do what people have liked with my baseball stuff. Maybe I'll do a video where I just do kind of a top-down process look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we'll do that a little bit. So listen, it's a lot of competition in the NFL. I think the NFL is going to be tough. But what do you think? I don't even mean to talk about this, but I am of the belief that, and we've been saying this for a while, but I think even more, I think the trend's going to continue to really just have just a lot of plays on offense. Starting with the fact that fourth down, go for it. Efficiency is getting better. There's going to be even less punting than there was last year. There's going to be even less field goal attempts than there were last year. There's just going to be more offensive plays.
I just think it's that way every year. I go into every year accounting.
Right.
And I think that what you're looking for in football is going to be, like, to go back to your original thought about lineup construction. My thinking is the same as it's always been, and it's the reason I've always made money in football, is because I do think going for the crazy game stacks will win you the larger field tournaments. Yeah. Whereas I think for the single entry, you probably should be double stacking your quarterback, not so much triple stacking. You know what I mean? But if you want to go for the crazy ones, you're going to get the 5-6 man stacks from games, a lot more winning that, $5 or something like that. Just because there are certain games that are going to be like 51-48, like, you know what I mean? You're going to see a few of them. And I think a lot of the game is trying to find that game. And then when it's not that week, it doesn't feel like that week. Like this week is a little bit that kind of week. You want to try to find your best spots. And I do think there's an argument for every side, but it's like everything, it's slate dependent. I do think there's a lot more game stacks though.
The other thing I was going to mention is that the other trend, which is going to continue, and might be even more, because you saw this with the running backs, the lack of let's put it this way, the lack of leverage they had over their teams as far as like the holdouts this year. Nobody really cared. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you want to sit out, go sit out. What do I care?
Right.
I think that if you're not if you're not catching the ball out of the backfield. You know what I mean? Like, uh, you're like the days of like being able to play like Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Like it's just really those types of plays are just going to be rough. You know, I just think that these even more so. Listen, it's going to continue. You know, the passing
story though, but like it's going to be rough. But then you play those guys. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's I think it's been this way for a little bit. It's I think what you're saying is that like is accurate, but it's going to be more amped up. But I feel like it's always like that. It's going to be higher scoring. The weird thing is Vegas doesn't agree based on the spreads from week one, and maybe it won't be week one. But I do think that you're going to start seeing some much higher scoring games. It's weird to have. I don't know. Is there 150 game on the total? I think.
I didn't even look at. I was going to literally run my first build as we did it. Well, you have the two high scoring teams playing Thursday. You know, I know that.
Yeah.
But and then it's going to be it's also going to be fun to see, you know, like who's playing, like what these rookies look like and stuff like that. And I know that you used to have you had some interesting looks on the first couple of weeks, you know, where some of these cheap wide receivers can really just like explode, you know, because you don't know who they are and they can really they can really get there. Let me ask you this. I mean, do you have any takes on the season, like in general?
Yeah, I do. I've been doing my research. I like to go for a little bit of a gamble when I make my picks. I'm going to pick a team that I think if they were healthy would have had a shot last year. And I think that they're a team that can neutralize some of Kansas City when they're right and when the conference is Baltimore. And I really think that I'm going to go super chalk in the NFC and just say what's going to be one of Philly or San Francisco. I like Philly a little bit better than San Francisco. So I like Philly a lot better than San Francisco. I don't necessarily like them during the regular season better. They have a terrible schedule, a very tough one. But I think I think the Super Bowl, my picks would be Baltimore and Philly. And the long shot pick that I want to put some money on, Sheets, and maybe you can help me out with this, is Baltimore beating Philly in the Super Bowl. It's got to be ridiculous odds.
Baltimore beating Philly, well, obviously. I mean, we can pull that up. We'll definitely pull that up. So let's run this. I'm going to run the very first NFL. This is the main slate. The very first main slate Sabres build. All I did was I updated my first set of projections, and to tell you like how much work I did on this relative to how unprepared I am, like all my NFL sheets are all like miscoded. I actually had to pretend that these were NBA players, and I used them. It put them in my NBA sheets, and I uploaded them as NBA players into the NFL sheets. So it did get the numbers where they needed to go, but I really had to like trick my spreadsheets into thinking they were NFL players. It was really kind of funny. Anyway, who do you think, before I even run this, is going to be the top plays this week?
I haven't looked at anything projection-wise yet.
Okay, cool.
I think you're going to see heavy ownership on the Charger game. I think you're going to see heavy ownership. You should see heavy ownership. Well, I'll be very heavy on it. Is the Cleveland-Cincinnati game. And I think that you'll get a lot of stuff from that.
All right, let's see. The very first. Now again, they've changed like a lot of stuff within the Saber Sim. So I'm going to be curious to see what we come up with here. You know who looked really cheap in my first run was that there's a cheap quarterback, Sam Howell or something like that.
I haven't even bothered looking at that projection.
What team he's on? Is he on Washington, maybe?
I like I said, I haven't. I've only played the guys just on feel and everything. I wanted to wait to go through it. So
yeah. So let me just see. I just want to see what these Saber Sim like with new contest sims. What these lineups are even going to look like. Okay.
You're going to have a lot of the Mims guy.
Mims?
Yeah, he's 3K. He's the wide receiver 1 for Washington, I believe.
Let's just see. All right, so right now, the number 1 owned guy on the board is a guy named Deion Jackson.
Yeah, the running back for Indy because
because Taylor's
the RB1, yeah, because he's 4,100, but he's kind of splitting with the other running back.
And here he is, the aforementioned. There is Marvin Mims. There he is.
Sutton they have is in now. They had him out earlier, so it looks like Sutton will play. So he's a wide receiver 2 at 3K still.
So there it is. They had Marvin. So the top owned guys look like Deion Jackson, Kenneth Walker, and Marvin Mims Jr., and then Austin Eckler. Okay. I'm looking at just some of these names to make sure I've heard of all of them at least. Okay, I've heard of all of them.
Yeah, Howell is actually a guy who I did see. Like I was just doing other research and I thought I saw a little bit about, but it's really weird because that game I just found myself with both defenses in like all of my lineups, just because they just looked way too good, and it's a 38 total.
Who?
The Washington and Arizona game.
Yeah, the Commanders are listed. The Commanders' defense,
I think,
is current runs giving them 44% ownership.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to not have some agreement. You have Joshua Dobbs. Like you could play Josh Dobbs if you want to play Sam Howell too. Josh Dobbs has a better chance to like come back for a win. It just feels weird. Like this is a really bad Arizona team. And I don't really know how bad. I think the Commanders are bad, but like I don't know. It's just I just want the defenses in that game. I don't really want to find them.
And you had mentioned that Cleveland and Cincinnati would be like the top, and they are currently the top 2 stats. Just right like that. Cincinnati and Cleveland, and that seems to make sense. And as far as like, and again. They're just building the normal like large slate GPP thing. I want to run these contest sims and see how different they are. So it's got a little QB plus 2, QB plus 3. Again, I'm like just kind of curious to see what types of lineups they're going to kind of create here. Now remember, that even though you said to win the big GPPs, sometimes you make these big game stacks. Don't forget, I mean, that the closest that I've seen you come to win the Millie was like a freaking one-off Aaron Rodgers, I think, or something like that.
No. I've come really close twice, and one was actually a Cleveland.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Cleveland, Cleveland, Cincy game stack, and the other one that I finished 4th in, I got 1.6 points from Jimmy Graham at tight end, and.
With Rodgers, right?
He dropped 2 balls, 1 in the end zone. Not that I needed it; any of the catches would have done.
Right.
He literally dropped them, and it was you couldn't know it was gut wrenching because the second half games hadn't started, but it was like, oh, I had a real shot to win this, especially if he caught the touchdown. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna win this thing. I had 230 fucking points already, and I had 2 things left.
Right.
But yeah, so sorry. I started to distract with my story.
No, not at all. That's now I want to do this with this contest sim things. I've been screwing around with it for the other sports, and let's just see what that looks like. So if we do contest sims for the NFL, we're going to add a new one.
I have a hot take though for this week. I'm just going to throw out there before I forget.
Do you want to save that for tomorrow, or
no? I'm going to throw it. I'll throw it out there. It's not everybody watching every time, so like. But I really think that the sneaky thing, like I think he's a great MVP bet. I think it's a great title. I mean, if I'm going to say the Ravens are going to be the Super Bowl, Lamar Jackson is expensive, and it's hard for people to know how to pair him with the fact that Beckham's there. But you've got Zay Flowers, who's going to get a ton of looks, and Bateman, who already can prove that he can get open. With Andrew, he's got weapons now. It's going to be a little bit of a show off. It could be like one of those 35-3 at halftime games where he literally, your only fear is that he won't play enough in the second half, because I have a feeling he's going to like do a guess who's back kind of a thing and like just go completely nuts. So that is my hot take of the week.
Well, so if I always like to see when the contest sims kind of take over. Wow. So here's one thing I never even know. Baker Mayfield is on the Buccaneers?
Yep. He's not a real quarterback, so he's on the Bucs.
Baker Mayfield is on the Buccaneers.
He's going to steal a game and get the fans excited, and then they're going to go like 4-13.
Now this is interesting. Now when I put the contest sims, and remember what contest sims usually do is just like make it a little more wild. It gets me 62% Seattle. So no, stats. Yeah. 62% Seattle stacks.
Yeah, I get it. That's another one of those that could be one of those halftime games.
Yeah, so
I have no idea. Like they're 5.5-point favorites. Is you want a good bet, and I'm a Rams fan. The only thing is that the Rams play Seattle crazy tough. But I swear that if there was a game where like a team was gonna just be completely smashed, other than the other game, this is the other one.
And then you look at this, like some of these constructions in these types of builds, it's like Seattle with like 3 receivers with like no Rams runbacks. Like this is kind of like what you were saying. Like just stomp City USA. You know what I mean? And just and then see what and then roll that way. So yeah, it's gonna be definitely fun. Let's do another one. Let's do. I didn't run full sheets for the showdown slate, but let's just take this. Let's take the SaberSim ones and see what they're gonna look like. And now again, as I imagine as usual, we don't even actually know who's playing.
Especially I know this one. I know all the things. I actually feel like I could easily hand build 150 lineups. Half would be unique.
Okay, so let's just see. We got to change a couple of things, and then we can run this. We're going to run 150.
He's loving the showdown process.
Okay, so first thing I want to do. So, all right, this is what we're going to do in order. First, we're going to run 150 with no changes. Then we're going to run 150, forcing salary to be left on the table. Then we're going to run 150 with contest sims with no changes. Then we're going to run 150 with contest sims leaving money on the table. Let's just see what they are going to do.
Fun day for Bobby Fye, huh? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm curious. I like this stuff.
Well, what do you want? What would you prefer? What do you want to do?
I love this. I mean, are you kidding? I was like half joking because it's not. We just have different processes, but like I love this. This is great.
Well, I mean, we could hand build one, but I mean that's
no. That's but yeah,
I just like playing with the toys. You know what I mean? Like
let's play with the toys, and then after we'll hand build one.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Absolutely.
All right, there we go.
I already built my Sunday one like 4 weeks ago when the salaries came out.
I know, I did it already.
I did it right here. You don't remember what that was, do you? I'll show you that lineup.
I've got a ton of them. I need these games to end so I can hang on to my min cash. I'm 50 spots away. I have a good chance, you know, and I have Bassett.
Where's the NFL? Yeah, this is my NFL fantasy football. This is when the salaries first came out. I'll just look at this. This is all the Chargers, right? It was Herbert, Allen, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen with run back with Jalen Waddle. I don't know if he's playing, but then Noah Fant, Robert Tonyan, Josh Jacobs, and Travis Etienne. Like none of these guys are appearing in my projections ever at all. So that's definitely winning. I don't know how it's losing because we made it 4 weeks ago. I mean, how can that not win?
The winner.
It is a winner. It is a winner. So this would give us, first of all, it gives us 1 billion different captains.
Yeah, well, let me start with the basic principle that Rody and I have talked about, and we've also had some pretty good showdown success. So like with the playing the backup running backs and backup tight ends is generally a good way to go. Now, playing those with the starting running backs and first string tight ends, in the tight ends case, is a really good way to go because no one does it. There's a lot of ways you can play but those like 2 basic strategies will win you showdowns because what's going to happen, especially teams on short weeks when the season goes on, this is a little different. It's the first week of the season, but everybody playing on short weeks on the Thursdays, everybody on the Monday with the trick plays and the weird things, you want to try to just get overweight on those possible situations where the second, third string tight end or running backs are your like focus. Sorry, go ahead, Cheats.
So it looks as though, and I kind of looked at when it comes to prices, that the cheap guy that people are going to pound on is going to be Khalif Raymond. He's 800. They already have him like a 25% ownership projection. So that's probably going to be
25%.
25% ownership.
Oh, he's going to be a lot higher than that. I don't know what that number is.
Well, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I'm just looking at the Sabres in here. 25%.
Yeah, that's pretty low owned.
You think?
I mean, for a showdown slate, like I thought it was going to be like 60% or something, but I get it that he's like literally the third, but like one play. It's a pretty good price, and he'll be on the field too.
Yeah, and then how should other captains? So I guess I'm not saying Brown. He's going to make some sense. So here are names that I've never heard of before. So these are the guys that are, I guess, the rookies or whoever. So Jahmyr Gibbs, from Detroit, and who is S. Laporta?
The Laporta
looks like he's a tight end for.
Laporta. Yeah, he's the starting tight end for the Lions now.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't really understand it. I've heard things about it. I've heard like positive things about him, like that. But like, I don't know what. Like, I can't even remember what they were. I've listened to so much NFL content, so I need to do a little more digging.
Yeah. Okay. So now, let's go. Let's do. So that was just single game.
Though, in all fairness, Khalif Raymond they have as the fourth wide receiver. You know what? I'll take Josh Reynolds over for Khalif Raymond all day.
Now, what we used to do last year is that it is basically just play Mahomes by himself because we didn't know exactly who was going to get the receptions. Do you still think that's kind of a good idea this year?
You can't do it in a showdown.
No,
I don't think so.
Well, look at a lineup just like this. Like
the opposite, actually.
Mahomes captain with like 5 Lions.
I just don't know how that. Like, he's not going to be running. He's going to be running less than ever. Maybe in this game he might run if they need to win. It just doesn't make sense, like, to bet. I always say the best bet every year is very simple. You just bet the Chiefs to win and bet on Mahomes to win the MVP. Because in his career, if he's always 6 or 12-1 or whatever he was before, so if he averages out to 7-1, is he really going to win 3 MVPs? Yes, he's won 2. Is he really going to win more than 3 Super Bowls? Yes, he's won 2. Like, you know what I mean?
I think the kickers. Again, if I'm going to stick to my theme, I think the kickers are going to be. I'm going to play less kickers this year. Even still than last.
Yeah, interesting in Showdown. I mean, like I was like that on Showdown, but like there are certain games. This is not the game where I'm with you with this game, but I in general I'm going to be playing a little bit more kickers on those ugly Thursday night games, just because we just have too much history of these games getting into like 13-9 stuff, and you know what I mean. But right now, this game should be high scoring. It'll be interesting to see if the Lions use Montgomery like they use Jamal Williams as a goal line back. You kind of protect your better weapon, and that's the one fear of Gibbs' upside for me.
So Gibbs is more of what type of a back?
He's a superstar. He's Saquon, and then not really Saquon, but like he's like that. He's an unbelievable running back. It's just a matter of they have David Montgomery on the team for a reason, and they use this. I mean, look, DeAndre Swift was clearly more talented than Jamal Williams, but like it was like 20-20. That's where he played, between the 20s, and Jamal Williams got everything in the 20s.
What do you think of Rice from Kansas City?
I don't even know if how many snaps. I'm having a very hard time with. I haven't studied the showdown yet, so I really am having a hard time with Kansas City's receivers. The only ones that I feel confident in, which to say is really strange to say, I feel like he knows that Valdez-Scantling a little bit, and he had some big catches last year in the playoffs, which is not a guy you should be able to trust. I actually like Sky Moore the best, and I think Kadarius Toney is the one with the most upside while playing like full slates in DFS, because I do think the talent is there where they could work out, not a Tyreek thing, but like it wouldn't surprise me if Kadarius Toney goes from like 5K to like 7,000. It also wouldn't surprise me if he's not on the team in like the next week.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do then. So let's pull this over here. Let's make you happy. We'll do a first a hand built lineup for the main. Just again, we'll go through game by game tomorrow, but just instinct, I guess.
Well, the chalky thing that I want to do is the Bengals and Browns. And I think you have a lot of options in the game of how you could stack it differently. But I think it would be
the chalk is going to be something like I'm putting in right now, right? Like Burrow with Chase and Higgins with Cooper on the other side.
Something like that. Or, yeah, probably less likely Chubb because of his price. So, yeah, probably something like that.
And who's that cheaper running back we talked about?
More likely Njoku on the other side. Or add Njoku. I think words out, Njoku can play. This is a team that has trouble against the middle.
So we put that Mims guy for now, right? In wide receiver.
Just to make it work, yeah.
Put something in there.
And you know what? Well, if you're gonna do that though, throw in the cheap defense. Throw in either Arizona or Washington's defense.
Yeah, Washington's gonna be too chalky. Let's do something else.
Do Arizona.
Yeah, let's do that.
They're cheaper too.
Yeah, so you do that, and then who is that running back that we talked about?
So as far as running backs go, and again, I haven't looked at anything yet. So
yeah, I'm just doing my instinct here. I mean,
I'm just looking at my lineup.
Kenny Walker is going to look good.
I think Walker feels like a really good play. Joe Mixon, but that's also I think it's weird. You don't want to play. Well, you can play Mixon and Burrow, but you don't want to overdo it. But Mixon would be one. Chubb would be one. If you put Chubb in, that lineup does become completely impossible. Nobody's doing that.
Well, I mean,
too much to ask for.
You know what people will do is probably what's up on my board right now. Like
they won't go that far.
You won't go Burrow, Chase, Higgins with both Cooper and Njoku from the other side?
I think if they're going to play Cooper and Njoku, they would just play Watson at 1,100 cheaper. I mean, looking at this lineup, that's my natural instinct. I'm like, I'll just switch out Burrow for Watson. More likely to be coming back anyway.
Well, either way. So, right? It's the same thing. I mean,
yeah. Ish, yeah. It's just if Watson's good anymore.
and then you could pick your favorite one of these dudes.
Yeah.
What do you think about? Is Madison's finally the number one running back over there? Is that the story?
Yeah, I'm not sure I like Madison a lot, but it's just I don't know what stock to put into it. I think it's very different being like a backup running back. I think it's a lot easier to look better. But it just is. I mean, it's pretty simple. You get the defense gassed. There's a million reasons why you're better off. So, and they're not stupid. They'll use Myles Gaskin a little bit. They'll run, end arounds for Justin Jefferson a couple times every game. They'll run one for KJ Osborne. You know what I mean? They'll run some trick plays. They're going to score points. The problem is I still think the Bucs, it's just a matter of do they even care? They're going to start the season caring. Their defensive secondary and all the line is actually not that bad. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they gave up 50 points because I don't know where they're at as a franchise. And to me that would be the weird cheap guy that I prefer over the Dobbs and the Howell would be Baker. If you play Baker with Evans and Godwin as a fairly cheap-ish stack, and you run it back with Jefferson as your expensive spend up, or you decide KJ Osborne, I actually really like KJ Osborne, and or Madison, I think that's a really interesting build that won't be duplicated much. You could also use Hawkinson too at tight end.
I'll tell you, Godwin's pretty cheap.
I mean, it's Baker though. Like nobody's gonna play these guys. It's you don't play them. You have to play them. No, I'm serious. It has to be a Baker stack or nothing. And it is on turf. They're gonna be trailing. They're gonna give him a shot. You know, why not? They need a little rejuvenation after Brady left. That's what he's good at. He's good at moments in the sun. He's not good at anything else, like playing football.
So you could do this. Then you play Baker, Evans, Godwin with Jefferson run back. Then you could play Njoku as a one-off if you want. That's the thing about football, man. You love your lineups when you make them. They always look so cool. And then you watch the red zone, you see some guy hit an 80-yard touchdown pass. You're like, who?
Chief, you know what I've learned though? Like the ones that are the most like that for me is the golf. Any lineup that I build, I am convinced 100% there's no way it can win. And like when I deviate and I have to make it like I whittle down, I end up feeling like, oh my God, this one can't. Then I'm like, well, how? I like it doesn't. My brain explodes because everything makes so much sense. And with golf, you can always find stats to like back up your argument. Well, this guy has had 3 of his best 5 rounds ever on this type of course that shapes like a U. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. There's always an argument for something in golf.
Well, and the thing is about in basketball, whenever I build my basketball lines, I think they have like no chance. Like that. But football, they always look good because they always look so pretty. I'm like, oh, all that's got to happen is this. Hey, easy game, right?
Yeah.
Baseball, they always look like that. The problem with baseball I have is that like I always feel there's some other thing that's better. It's not that I don't think mine's that good. You know what I mean? Like I always
right.
I'm like fading Atlanta. You know what I mean? I'm fading.
You're coming from a guy who's had a pretty good year in baseball, so don't
No, I'm not saying a good year. I'm just saying it's the way lineups like appear. You know what I mean? Before you play them.
Like I said, I'm on the West Coast. I've gone to sleep at 9:30 and had no chance to win a tournament. And like didn't even like have a cashing going on, like a terrible night. I wake up and I'm up 110,000. You know what I mean?
All right. So what's the min cash you're sweating here?
I'm at 112. I'm in the 2,500. Just a standard.
No, let's pull this up here. So you're ahead of me. I'm in 622nd. So let's go. Where are you? 112?
Right.
116.
116 now.
Yeah, you got a hold, don't you? Huh?
Yeah, but I've got 47 spots. There's only 3 more innings, and I also get
that's true.
I have the win and Bassett still going. I just need Bassett not to give up anything.
Yeah, that's true. You do have the Bassett,
and he's getting the win already.
Just no extra innings out of this.
Even extra innings is not as big a deal in baseball as people think. It can be occasionally, but it's pretty rare. I think that I'm actually like really unlikely not to cash. I would put
you should be
more than 90% range.
Yeah, you should be a good shaker.
Rhodey made a run earlier. He didn't.
No, Oakland scored a run. Look what I did. I just cursed everybody.
Oh my God, maybe I'm not going to cash now. Watch this.
No, there's no way. Who's the H14 OV21C4? Who the hell is that?
I don't know.
Who are these people come out of nowhere? And who the Utica with the 17 entries like it's nothing. Let's go.
There's 27. They played. There was a bunch of guys I was seeing.
JBC to 23.
Yeah, that was it.
He's another big ego guy. I don't like the ego guys.
Yeah.
I'm
really annoyed by that Taukman thing.
What happened to him?
Just the pinch hit in the second inning.
Oh, ouch!
With no run score, with runners at first and third and nobody out.
Ouch!
And it was an opener,
Why even start him? I mean,
because he gets one at bat against the other guy, and if the other guy doesn't struggle, then he gets the rest of his at bats against a long lefty. But they put a short lefty out there to get an extra inning. It's just so it's playoff baseball.
Yeah.
The Giants are playing playoff baseball 100%, except for with the Alex Cobb thing, which is still shocking to me.
You know, this guy is holding like firmly. I mean, because he's got the Bassett with the win. I mean, who's catching him? The fat guy's here's not going to get him. Oh, he's got Merrifield, but he's got what, one at bat left, and he needs a home run. Yeah, this guy looks in good shape here. Well, this guy's got a Kremer win that could give this guy a couple of swipes, but same thing. He's just got Marte. Wow, look at this. There's nobody even lurking.
I mean, Marte, how many points back?
Like 15 or something. I mean, like
that's a home run. I mean, basically.
No, I know that's true. That's true. Need lunch money. He's got okay. This guy's got Tatis and Soto, and they're in the 8th though, and they're the bottom of the 8th, so he's got nothing. Okay. Wow, look at this.
I'm not sure Kramer is eligible, is what Scott's saying. I'm just going to double check.
Oh, for the win, you mean?
I know they took him out early-ish, but I didn't realize it was that early. Yeah, 4.2. He's not eligible.
Okay, so I guess this guy's home here with 208. Congratulations to him.
It's so funny because we, including myself, even like question all of these like. We're like, what the hell are the Cubs doing? What's this? What is this crazy shit? And I'm like, these are all teams that are performing well above their expected performance. You know what I mean? It's like we do it with Tampa Bay, we do it with the Cubs this year, and they do this, and it works. You know, Minnesota, they're winning games.
What they do is not friendly to your fantasy team. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doesn't mean it doesn't get them more wins during the course of the season. You know, it's like,
right. But I understood what they were doing. You have 2 power righties on the bat. You're down 2-0 in the second inning. Why not do it when they're supposed to be bringing in a long lefty afterwards anyway? It made sense. It just didn't make sense for that's not how people play regular season baseball.
Right. The other thing about tomorrow also, I could record early with you, but I'm actually going to the Yankee game tomorrow night. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. We'll record. What time do you want to? Because we're supposed to do football.
We'll do the football, and then we'll do whichever order you want.
Yeah, that sounds good. So what time?
You want to do? There's no early slate tomorrow, right?
I think there is an early slate tomorrow.
Of course there is.
It's Wednesday.
So we'll do. When is it?
I don't even know. I haven't looked yet, but I just know there always is going to be one on Wednesday.
Well, we're going to do this right now. Let's see.
I'm looking as well.
Yeah. So okay. So it's 12:35. So what we could do is no problem. We'll do 12 o'clock. We'll just do 12 o'clock, and then we'll fire up 12:45. We'll do football, and then at like 1:30 or whatever, 1:45, we'll do baseball. And then I'll finish just in time for my Survivor at 3 o'clock. Yeah, sure, no problem. So good. So we'll be live at 12 for the early slate.
Yes, I'm reserving my spot right now.
Yeah. And you know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
I'm going to bed.
All right, that sounds good to me.
All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow.
Good to see you guys.